Hello, everybody. Thank you for your patience. We've got a few more minutes before it's actual time to start, and we've got a lot of people we expect to jump on. I hope you're enjoying these chocolate facts. I know you can't respond, but I'm a chocoholic. I love a good dark chocolate. Honestly, I don't think a Hershey Kiss, that doesn't count as chocolate to me. Nowhere near enough cocoa count. But this a little bit of fun fact for Halloween. And Elena, are we waiting for a lot more people, or do we have quite a few on that you're expecting?
We're still waiting on a few people to join us, so we'll wait a minute.
Okay.
And we'll start the webinar.
Great, thank you.
No problem. All right. Happy Halloween, everyone, and welcome. This is Elena Herrera. I'm here with Dolores Alonso and David Seckman from FPSA. We would like to acknowledge a few of our FPSA board and council members who have joined us today. Gerald McCarroll, Greg Thompson, Dan Plant, and Tom Imbernino. Before we get started, please note that everyone is on mute and today's webinar is being recorded. If you have any questions, please write them in the chat box and we'll answer them at the end. Leading today's town hall webinar are FPSA Women's Council Chairwoman Mary George from Pentair and Kate Rome from Rome Grinding Solutions. Without further ado, take it away, Mary.
Thank you, Elena. And again, welcome everybody. If you're on this call, obviously you know about the FPSA's Women's Council, but what is the Women's Council? In a nutshell, the Women's Council was formed specifically to support and empower women who work in the food and beverage industries, while at the same time enhancing and helping FPSA membership grow and thrive. Next. So as I was putting this together, it was fun to look back over the past 18 months when the Women's Council started with just an idea at the 2017 annual conference. It was there that a few of us, basically over lunch, came up with a plan to form and launch the Women's Council. That same week, during the annual board meeting, we received backing from the FPSA Board of Directors to move forward with our plan. And needless to say, the rest is history. From there, we started next to process the idea. We formed a Founders Circle, which was a group of women that is now the executive committee that did all the development. Time was spent crafting the right name, and after much consideration, we went back to keeping it simple and in line with the FPSA nomenclature, the Women's Council. The logo was designed and fine-tuned. We went to work developing marketing material. Next. And that material included pages on the FPSA website, announcing the formation of the council, as well as a membership form. Next. Marketing tools included the LinkedIn group, a Facebook page, numerous email blasts and newsletters that went out to the database we had from Process Expo and FPSA. And we also asked all of our members to spread it to their colleagues as well. The promotion continued to grow next, and our reach was expanded when Tom Imbradino from Dairy Foods offered coverage with a page in the magazine, as well as web and email banners. This support was amazing. And the great thing is that others soon followed, with the National Provisioner and Snack and Bakery also offering us coverage in their publications. Thanks again to those who have stepped up and provided the support. So this all took place from March through September of 2017. And having processed the idea, supplied the details, it was then time to launch the Women's Council. Next. And we did that in style, without a doubt. The picture paints 1,000 words, or at least 140. We were blown away with the attendance at the breakfast. We were hoping maybe we'd get 100, and it turned out a lot more than that. The enthusiasm at the breakfast was mind-blowing. Jane was awesome and such a good speaker that the buzz was, we didn't want her to stop talking. And again, kudos to the companies, including Alfa Laval, Grody, Polyclip, Provisioner, and Weber that provided support. This allowed all these attendees to come to the breakfast for free. All of the attendees also received one of Jane's books. And I also have to lift up Kate and Rome Grinding Solutions for the Women's Council logo champagne glasses and champagne toast that we used to close out the breakfast. Next. I'm going to take a deep breath here because that's what we all did take a deep breath here because that's what we all did after the breakfast. We did a lot in a very short amount of time. And once we stood back and took a look at what happened at the breakfast, we realized what we had created, a group of interested, engaged women that we needed to keep momentum going with. So we immediately went to work and started forming and staffing committees. We planned face-to-face events, as well as virtual events such as webinars and the iChats to keep people involved and engaged across the country. We also wanted to make sure that everything we did and planned was in line with FPSA's mission. And it was amazing how far we've progressed in the past year. But the best part is all of this has been a lot of fun. And on that note, I'm going to pass the virtual microphone over to Kate.
Sweet. Thanks, Mary. Thanks for that recap. That's fun. Good afternoon, everyone. Clearly, as Mary said, we've accomplished so much in our short time, and I'm so thankful to be a part of that original conversation that started this and now has transitioned into this fully functioning organization, and it happened so swiftly. Since our breakfast at 2017 Process Expo, we've held 7 meetups at other events throughout the industry, such as IPPE, Pet Food Forum, and most recently Pack Expo, just to name a few. These are simply prearranged times and locations at these various events getting together, meeting some new faces, maybe some familiar ones, having a 15 to 20-minute chat, and there's usually coffee involved, but I feel like now the new involvement should be with the chocolate, since we're having that as our theme today. In March of this year, we held our first annual meeting in conjunction with FPSA annual conference in Tucson. Although that location and venue changes yearly, our annual meeting will be taking place during this conference going forward. It's just our time to have a one-on-one, face-to-face meeting one time a year and lay out what we're doing for the future months. If you have never attended this annual conference, mark my words, you are missing out. FPSA puts on an amazing event, tons of fun, important content, and the networking is also outstanding. And I'm from the Midwest, so this conference always takes place somewhere warm in March, and there's you really can't beat that. Good excuse to get out of the cold weather. Along with holding our annual meeting, we hosted a scavenger hunt in Tucson as well. Mary gets all the credit for this event. She did an amazing job putting this together. It took place within the resort, and we just had a lot of fun. It was challenging and educational. I'm very thankful for my team members because I would have been stumped on a lot of them, the questions that we had to answer, things like that. We enjoyed the weather. We finished our scavenger hunt next to the pool with a cold drink in hand, and we had prizes that were generously donated, and there was just a lot of laughs and storytelling. This takes us to our most recent Women's Council event, which just took place in September, this time in conjunction with the FPSA Sales Conference in Chicago. So our events committee put on this wonderful dinner followed by some comedic entertainment thanks to a generous donation by the Growth Company. Our comedian is actually a founding member of the Women in Comedy group, which is based in the Chicago area. She did a musical and improv set based on the Women's Council and FPSA, and it was hilarious and really good fun. From the conception of what the Women's Council is today, all of this has been made possible by the individuals and companies that have stepped up, volunteered time, donated money and prizes, attended events, our calls, and started participating actively in our committees. As co-chairs, Mary and I thank each and every one of you for your support and making all of this possible, as well as a special thanks to the entire FPSA organization that has been second to none. Your support is, we appreciate it so much. Saying that, the work has not stopped and will not continue to stop. The greater network base we create, the stronger our voice and mission is. We encourage you all to reach out to your coworkers, your business acquaintances, and friends within the industry and tell them about the Women's Council and what we have going on. Direct them to the website, have them sign up. We invite all FPSA members, male or female, to sign up. To us, diversity is the key to our success and continued growth. By signing up, they become a quote-unquote insider, like most of you already are, receiving the emails and information about what's happening in and around the Women's Council and what we have planned for the future. Of course, we would also love to find more people that could be actively involved, participating in our committees, our executive committee, and we would also love to find more individuals that can move into roles sitting on the FPSA councils in the coming year. This is part of our mission. Now, Mary, I'm going to toss it back to you so you can talk a little bit more in detail about our committees.
Thanks, Kate. So the next several slides are going to give you ways that you can get involved. And you can get involved with as little or as much time commitment as you have available to you. So I'm going to briefly go over the committees that serve the Women's Council. And each of these is fairly self-explanatory, and you can read more about them on our website. So I won't go into details about their missions and focus, but hopefully while I'm talking, you can read those on these slides. First one is Professional Development Committee, and I'd like to thank Diane Wolf and Kathleen Chance for stepping up, taking leadership roles as co-chairs. They have done a lot of brainstorming and work, and they have put on webinars, and they have developed what they call iChats. And that's something we are learning that we have to brand. So what is an iChat? iChat, you get on the telephone, you listen to maybe a TED Talk or some kind of brief, thought-provoking piece of material, and then you stay on the phone, and in a very safe place that is not recorded, you have a discussion with your peers. Their first one was on the gender pay gap, and that pushed a whole hour. That was amazing discussion, and it brings people together, and it allows you to get answers or voice opinions and feel connected. I know Diane and Kathleen are looking for webinar ideas. They're looking for committee members, so please reach out to them if you would like to be involved. And you can always email Elena, Kate, or myself as well. Next slide, please. And so go to the events committee. Kate went over the dinner that Alicia and Krista planned and pulled off and took ownership of. This was an amazing dinner, as Kate said, and it was so nice that Alicia and Krista did everything. They saw to every little detail, and it made it a perfect event. Again, I know they're looking for committee members because 2019 is going to ramp up with Process Expo 19. There's going to be a lot of events that we need to plan, so they could use help. And if you could come in and say, I can be a worker bee at the breakfast at Process Expo, that would be great. So however you can get involved, please let them know. I know they need your help. Next. Membership Committee. Again, thank you to Jennifer Fenimore and Denise Claren for volunteering to be our co-chairs for this. They are dedicated to looking at bringing value to current members, welcoming new members, and recruiting members. They take basically what all the other committees do and make sure our members know about it. And again, they can use help as they reach out, and they definitely need your help in reaching out to your colleagues in joining and getting the word out that we are there and available for membership. Next. Charlie Antonelli and Jacqueline LeGros have stepped up to be our fundraising co-chairs. They are currently in the brainstorming process, and they know what the funds they raise, they want to have go towards scholarships and other ways to help women develop their careers in this industry. I know they have things that they are working on for Process Expo 2019 and could use your help as well. So if you'd be interested in stepping onto their committee and helping out, please let someone know. Next. And the Women's Council, first, we need your help on our committee. So I'm going to be a little selfish and say, okay, we need your help on our committees. But more than that, we want to make sure that women get involved on FPSA's networks and councils. There is a lot out there, especially with all the new networks that have been formed. We strongly encourage participation in everything else that FPSA has to offer. And on that note, I'm going to turn this over to Dolores, and she's going to go into details on the opportunities there are out there to get involved on a much larger scale.
Great. Thank you so much, Mary. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us today. Before I tell you a little bit about the council and network structure, I'm going to be a little selfish as the VP of membership and talk to you about membership for a moment or two. Next. I want to thank all of you that are on the line for your membership, and for those of you that are not members, we've attached this benefits piece to the webinar as an attachment for you to take a look at. We are very proud of the many offerings that we provide our members, and this one pager kind of lays them out where you can really see your return on investment in a very clear manner. You know, there's the savings on your booth at the show that can range from $900 to tens of thousands of dollars, depending on the size of your booth. But booth savings is just one of the many benefits FPSA members realize. For example, we've commissioned over $60,000 worth of trend studies for our various segments, and as members, you have access to one or all of them. Annual dues are on an average of about $1,700 a year, so you would have paid for your investment, 30, 40 times over. And so there's so much more that you can read about on this flyer. These are just some of the items that, we're able to easily put a price on. But one thing you can't put a price on is the value, the professional growth and relationships that you develop that come from participating on a council or network. So let me tell you a little bit about those. Next, please. FPSA, as many of you know, has 6 councils that represent our members' major market segments: bakery, beverage, dairy, meat, prepared foods, and our newest, pet food. Councils function like small mini associations, each with their own board of directors. Each council is also represented on the FPSA board of directors, and they're absolutely instrumental in shaping the programs and products of the FPSA. The councils are made up of company presidents, CEOs, VPs, business development, sales, and marketing professionals. But what we also have is what we call our networks. Next, please. Thank you. 2 years ago, as Mary and Kate talked about, we created our first 2 networks, the Young Professionals and the Women's Council. These 2 networks represent a demographic within the industry. They're made up of people of all levels and come from various parts of their companies. These 2 networks create diversity and help introduce the next generation of leaders into the association. Almost immediately, by creating these 2 networks, we saw engagement and participation by people that were previously on the sidelines a bit or not even involved in the association. The Women's Council and Young Professionals Group have injected a new level of energy into the association and are helping to shape it and lead it into the future. As a result of the success of these 2 networks, the board of directors started working on the addition of 3 others. Our new networks are food safety, technology, and packaging. They're comprised of professionals representing specific disciplines and areas of work. Because of their expertise, they'll be able to inform and educate the councils on current and important industry topics and trends. These subject matter experts on the networks will discuss challenges affecting their companies and the industry, and then raise those issues with the councils to take action. So the networks will contribute the following to the FPSA. They'll help us develop substantive content for the council meetings, informative sessions at our events, educational webinars, floor activities at Process Expo, things like white papers, articles for our newsletters, and content for our website. But there are many, many professional benefits to being on a network. Serving on a network will give individuals an opportunity to meet with others and learn from colleagues in different companies dealing with the same issues regardless of the segment, and collectively work to find solutions. By working with peers from other companies, network members will be able to expand their knowledge and bring it back to their companies. Next, please. And so many of you have probably seen this matrix over the summer. We sent it out various times as we were building the networks and trying to explain the concept. So this matrix sort of gives you a visual of how the relationship between the councils and networks work. Each network will have a representative on each council that will bring forward issues discussed and worked on by their network. What this also means is that each council will have at least 5 new members representing each of these networks. Council meetings will in turn be more robust, as part of their agenda will be addressing and including reports and discussions on technology, packaging, food safety, young professional and women's issues and activities. So that's a bit about our new structure. We probably already have between 60 to 70 members on our networks. And again, it's super exciting because these were not necessarily people that were super involved before, but now they are. There's only one prerequisite, and that's that you have to be an FPSA member. So if any of you folks are interested, please contact me. And Mary, that's what I had on the council. So I'm going to kick it back over to you and Kate.
Okay, thanks, Dolores. And I'm going to take a risk here and go slightly off script because Dolores made me think of something. So when I've been a member of FPSA as part of my company for years, didn't really get involved until about 2 years ago when Tom Imberdino, thank you, Tom, got me on the Dairy Council. It wasn't much longer that I got a call and I was asked to be vice chair of the Beverage Council. And I had no idea what I was getting myself into. Not only am I vice chair of the Beverage Council, but I also sit on the board of directors. And it's turned out to be, I would say, a career highlight. It's an amazing organization to be a part of, and it has brought so much into my career and my life. So that's my plug for getting involved. Here's a look at where we are at the Women's Council in doing our part in providing the liaisons for the councils and networks. For bakery, we have Kara Goddick. Beverage and dairy, I'm sitting on those right now because I happen to be on both, but I would love to find somebody to take my place on beverage as the Women's Council rep. I will still be on beverage, but the Beverage Council needs more members, so this is my plug for the Beverage Council. So if anybody is interested, please let me know. Kate sits as the rep for MISA. We need somebody for prepared food. Alicia is on pet foods and young professional, and Jennifer is our rep for food safety. As you can see, we are also looking for volunteers to be our reps for packaging and technology. And what does it mean to be a rep? It's actually very simple. You will sit on the Women's Council Executive Committee, and we will provide quarterly the topics that you take back to these groups. So we will all be taking the same thing. You won't have to create it. We'll discuss it in our calls, and it's something that you can do very easily. And I, like I said, getting involved, and these are amazing people that your professionals you're working with will enhance your career. Next. And I'm going to take a quick moment here to once again say thank you, and I can't do that enough. Thank you to the FPSA Board of Directors and staff for their support, their backing, and their resources. It's an amazing group to work with, and they have helped take this Women's Council from an idea to a large organization in 18 months. So again, thank you. Next, please. And where does that take us for 2019? We've got to keep growing with the flow because the flow is going good. And again, because of Process Expo in 2019, this is going to be a big year for us. So we're looking to do some planning, and I hope to have a call. So watch your email sometime next week because that will give me some ideas before I go to the November Board of Directors meeting the following week. Some things we're looking at doing is expanding some networking events. I've been in contact with a group called WISE. It's Women Impacting Store Brand Excellence. They're about 5 years old, very similar to us, but in a similar but different industry. And we might have some synergies to do a shared networking event, not around a trade show or a sales conference. So this would give us some reach out there. Something else we're looking to doing, again, right now it's an idea, is to provide awards to women. So what is WHIFP? It's Women Who Influence Food Processing. So we're looking at what kind of honors we can give a few women just to raise up what they're doing. We've enhanced the executive committee, increased it from 16 to 24 members to allow for the reps to the network and councils. And as I said, 2019 is going to be huge with the Process Expo, breakfast, and so many opportunities for face-to-face events. We have a template for mentoring, again, that we've borrowed from WISE, that would allow us to expand our reach. And coming up sooner than later is the 2019 annual conference in San Antonio in March. This, as Kate said, it's an amazing event that's put on with great speakers, great education, and a lot of fun. And I'm going to turn it over to Dolores, who is going to give you some exciting news that you are the first to hear about.
Thank you, Mary. I feel like I need a drum roll or something.
I do too. Yeah, that's what we should.
Yeah, for
okay,
sure.
Y'all,
for sure.
Virtual drum roll, everybody.
All right. Go ahead, Elena. Thank you. So we're super, super excited to announce our main keynote speaker at our annual conference in March, Dawn Hudson, the former Chief Marketing Officer at the National Football League and former President and CEO of Pepsi-Cola North America and PepsiCo Food Service. Pretty darn impressive. So she will be at the annual conference, March 19th through the 21st. Ladies and gentlemen, definitely save the date. We all hope to see you there and give you the opportunity to meet Dawn in person. Thank you,
Dolores,
Mary.
when does that registration open? Do you want to tell them?
Sure. So we're planning on opening either the 1st of December or mid-December. So I will send something out well in advance to let everyone know when it's up and running.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, we're right about on track. So are there any questions, Elena?
It looks like don't have any right now, but if you do have questions, feel free to type them in the chat box in your screen on the right-hand side, and we can answer them now.
I have a question or statement that we probably should have thought about before. There has been, Dolores, explain why we are called the FPSA Women's Council when we are technically a network.
Oh, good question. Well, I think when the Women's Council was originally formed, we just went with that terminology because we really didn't have the network structure in place. But the Women's Council, like the Young Professionals, we just went ahead with the Young Professionals group instead of Young Professionals Council. We're always networks, so they weren't formal councils, but we stuck with the name Women's Council because it stuck with just the reputation that it had formed.
Yep. Okay. Thank you for that.
Sure. Thank you.
And it looks like that's it for questions, Mary.
Okay. Well, again, we're right on time. I appreciate you all giving a little bit of your day to us. She just put up the screen. If you need to contact us, here it is. Again, you can always contact Elena or Dolores or FPSA to get our contact information. If you have other questions, if you want to get involved, please do. And with that, happy Halloween and chocolate cheers to you all.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.